When the gunfire stopped, the only sound left was her breathing. Shallow, broken, but alive. 8 bullets. That how many tore through Captain Mira Han's body when she shielded a trembling predator cub on the war-torn planet of Vraxia Prime. The aliens called her insane. The predators called her Mother of Blood. And when she finally opened her eyes again, days later, she wasn't in a human hospital. She was surrounded by towering alien soldiers, kneeling. Why were the galaxy's deadliest warriors bowing to a wounded human woman? Hey everyone, if that opening hit you right in the chest, wait till you hear what happens next. This is one of those humans are built different kind of stories you want to forget. So if you love epic HFY moments, bravery that defies logic, and aliens learning what humanity really means, hit like, tap subscribe, and share this one with your crew. Let's dive in. The first bullet hit her shoulder. She didn't even flinch. Captain Mira Han had been through worse. The smell of iron and smoke was familiar, almost comforting in a twisted way. But the sound of the predator cub crying, that pierced her heart harder than any round. The battlefield on Vraxia Prime was a nightmare. Red sand mixed with oil. Bodies, human and alien, scattered like broken statues. The predator species, the Dravik, were supposed to be humanity's enemies. They were carnivorous, 4-armed hunters with golden eyes that glowed in the dark. But when Mira found that small Dravik cub trapped under rubble, whimpering and bleeding, she didn't see an enemy. She saw a child. So she ran toward it, straight through enemy fire. 3 more bullets tore into her armor, each one kicking her back, but she didn't stop. She pulled the cub free, wrapping it in her arms. The creature trembled, its claws barely scratching at her chest plate. "Easy," she whispered, voice shaking. "You're safe now." Safe. What a lie. The 4th, 5th, and 6th bullets came in a burst. 1 in her thigh, 2 in her side. Her visor cracked, blood filling her mouth. Still, she kept moving. Every step forward felt like dragging a mountain. Her HUD flickered red, then black. The 7th round slammed into her back. The 8th, her heart, and she fell. For a moment, there was only silence. Then she heard the cub make a noise. Not of fear this time, but fury. The little creature roared, an almost human sound. The aliens stopped firing. The Dravik warriors stared, frozen, as the cub limped toward Mira's body, pressed its head to her chest, and howled. The sound echoed through the canyon like a curse. No human had ever done this, for them. Hours later, when the dust settled, the Dravik warband carried 2 bodies away. 1 cub, 1 human. They didn't know why. Their commander simply said, "This one, she dies with honor." Time blurred. Mira floated in darkness. Mira. The pain was distant now, like thunder rolling miles away. Somewhere she remembered voices, alien ones, arguing over her body. She's dead. No. Look. The heartbeats. She's not like the others. Keep her alive. She wanted to laugh. Humans and Dravik, keeping each other alive. What kind of joke was this war turning into? Then came the dream. In it, she was back home on Earth, watching the sunrise over the Sol coastline. Her younger brother was beside her, teasing her for joining the Marines. "You always have to save something, don't you, Nuna?" he'd said. She smiled. "I guess I do." When Mira woke again, it was to the sound of hissing machines. The air smelled strange, sweet, metallic. She blinked slowly. Her vision came into focus. Alien architecture surrounded her, curved walls of black stone, veins of glowing blue light running like rivers across the ceiling. Medical pods lined the room. In the reflection of the glass, she saw herself, pale, scarred, half covered in regenerative gel. 8 wounds, 8 perfect circles now sealed shut. She wasn't supposed to be alive. Then she saw it. The Dravik cub, no, the cub, was sleeping beside her pod, its small hand gripping the edge of her blanket. Its fur shimmered silver now, no longer dull with blood. Someone had cleaned it, someone had cared for it. She tried to speak, but her voice came out cracked. You made it. The cub's ears twitched. It opened its eyes, and in them she saw something new. Recognition, loyalty, love. It reached up and pressed its forehead to the glass. Mira smiled weakly and whispered, "You're safe now." And that was when the door opened. A shadow fell across the room. Tall, armored, Dravik elite, judging by the scars carved into his jaw and the twin plasma blades at his sides. But he didn't attack. He knelt. Behind him, 6 more Dravik warriors followed suit. All of them, massive and silent, dropping to one knee in perfect synchronization. Mira blinked, confused, still too weak to speak. The lead warrior looked up at her, his golden eyes fierce, yet strangely respectful. His voice was deep, almost reverent. "Human, you took 8 bullets for a cub not of your kind," he said. "For that, the Dravik bow." He drew one blade, held it upright before his chest, and declared, "By blood and fire, you are now under our protection, Captain Mira Han, protector of kin." The cub chirped softly, curling closer to the pod. Mira could barely breathe. The pain was gone, but in its place something else was rising, something powerful. Destiny. For a long moment Mira didn't move. She wasn't sure if her mind was playing tricks on her. Maybe this was the afterlife. A strange alien dream where the enemies she fought now knelt before her. But no. She could feel the weight of the air, hear the faint hum of machinery, and smell the sharp tang of plasma fuel. This was real. She swallowed hard. "Why?" she managed to whisper. "Why bow? To me?" The leader of the Dravik warriors lifted his gaze. "Because the cub you saved," he said slowly, "is heir to the Dravik throne." The words hit her harder than the bullets ever did. That tiny, trembling creature? Royalty? He continued, voice low and heavy. "You protected what even our gods would not. In doing so, you have rewritten the law of the hunt. The clans have called for your name to be honored." Mira tried to sit up. Pain flared in every muscle. "I'm no god," she muttered. "Just a soldier who couldn't watch a kid die." The warrior tilted his head. "Exactly. That is what makes you greater than one." Over the next few days, the alien healers worked tirelessly. Their technology was strange, part organic, part energy-based. Mira's body was repairing faster than human medicine could explain, but what fascinated her most wasn't the healing. It was the way the Dravik treated her. Every corridor she walked through, every soldier she passed, they stopped. They placed one clawed hand over their hearts and bowed. She'd become something between a myth and a memory. Alive. The cub, now called Kareth, never left her side. It followed her everywhere, chirping and mimicking her gestures, curious about everything human. One night, while sitting near the glowing firestones of the fortress, Mira looked down at the young heir and said softly, "You remind me of my brother." Kareth tilted its head. "Brother?" it asked in its rough, broken English. "Family," Mira said, smiling faintly. "It means someone worth dying for." Kareth blinked. "Then, Mira is family." She froze. That one sentence, simple, unpolished, felt heavier than any medal she'd ever earned. Weeks passed. Then came the summons. A fleet had arrived, an Imperial Dravik command ship, carrying their High Council. The same beings who once labeled humanity as primitive savages. Now they wanted to see the human who had defied that label. When Mira entered the Grand Chamber, the silence was immediate. Dozens of alien nobles sat in curved thrones, their eyes glinting like molten gold. The High Lord rose. "Human, you bled for one of our kind," he began, his voice echoing. "Explain why." Mira looked around, meeting their gazes one by one. "Because no one else did," she said. "War makes you forget simple things like mercy. I just didn't forget." The chamber stayed quiet. Then, shockingly, one by one, the Dravik nobles began to stand. A ripple of sound followed. Armor plates shifting, blades striking the floor. A full salute. The High Lord bowed his head. "Then humanity is not weak," he said. "Humanity is dangerous because it remembers what others have lost." That moment changed everything. The story of the human who took 8 bullets spread faster than light. Across systems, humans who once fought to survive now found themselves invited into Dravik fleets as equals. Trade began. Peace, real peace, took its first breath in generations. Mira didn't care much for politics, though. Her focus stayed on Kareth, who grew stronger each day. She trained him, not as a predator, but as a protector. And one evening, years later, as the twin sons of Vraxia sat behind the jagged mountains, Kareth stood beside her, fully grown, armor gleaming. "Mother Mira," he said, "the galaxy knows your name. They call you Bloodshield." She laughed softly. "That's dramatic." He smiled, showing sharp teeth. "So is truth. But legends never rest." When a new threat emerged, an ancient machine race awakening beyond the edge of the known stars, the Dravik fleets prepared for war once more. Their generals gathered, uncertain, until a single voice cut through the tension. "Call her." And across the void, aboard a human vessel now forged from both Terran steel and Dravik alloy, Captain Mira Han stood before her crew. Her armor gleamed crimson. The symbol of both races, human and Dravik, was etched across her chestplate. She looked at the stars, calm, resolute. 8 bullets weren't enough to stop me," she said quietly. "Let's show them why humanity still leads the charge." Engines roared. Fleets formed. The alliance that began with 1 woman and 1 cub ignited the greatest defense the galaxy had ever seen, because sometimes it takes 1 act of kindness to shake the entire universe. And that is the story of Captain Mira Han, the Bloodshield of Vraxia. A human who didn't fight for glory or vengeance, but for compassion. And somehow that simple act of mercy rewrote galactic history. If this story made you feel something, if it reminded you that even in the coldest corners of space, humanity still burns brighter than any star, then hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear this reminder. Humanity's strength isn't in its weapons or ships, it's in its heart. What do you think would happen if more species learned what human compassion really means? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading everyone. Until next time, this is HFY Stories, reminding you, never underestimate the species that invented empathy.